My name is Gisle Kvanvig. I work at the Norwegian Center for Human Rights, which is part of the Faculty of Law at the University of Oslo. And I've been working with what is known as investigative interviewing for the past 15 years. So it sort of precedes the Méndez Principles and the concept of ethical and effective interviewing. Our main contribution within this field has been on the training and practice of interviewing and investigations, so criminal investigations, that is, where we work in a number of countries on all continents around the world, and also in many places we also work together with UN agencies or other multilateral agencies on training police, but also on actually rolling out and evaluating the very early sort of first steps and practices of effective interviewing. I think there was, the change in Norway happened against the backdrop of multiple wrongful convictions and scandals, particularly in high-profile cases. But I think even preceding that, there was, for a long time, there had been this almost like a ping-pong match between the General Prosecutor's Office and the police, where the General Prosecutor had asked for higher quality in investigations, and the police had somehow responded by asking, well, how do we do that? So I think that the whole sort of situation was ripe for a change, particularly with these high-profile scandals gaining a lot of media attention. And on top of all that, I think there was also a leadership inside of the police that were of a different generation and culture than what we may perhaps perceive of as old school police leaders. This was a generation of leaders that sort of came of age in the 60s. Some of them had demonstrated against the Vietnam War. So they had a very different education and also represented quite a different culture. So I think that sort of support that they gained from leadership, together with what the media and the public did with regard to these different scandals and wrongful convictions, I think those two things were very, very powerful in terms of instigating that change. Yeah, that's a very good question. The interesting part of it, particularly now when we're getting more and more audio-video recordings of live interviews from police agencies that we work with around the world, it's actually quite easy to see whether it's a good or a bad interview. A good interview starts right in the sense that the safeguards are in place. So that also means that you have to go even back to the custody before the interview, and check that all the records are okay, medical attention if that has been received. Then the audio-video recording itself acts as a kind of safeguard, in the sense that you can see the interviewing room, you can see the lawyer, and you can monitor everything that happens. But then it's also about the actual interaction. There's a lot of emphasis on rapport building, which to some is a bit abstract, but in actual practice, if you're a good interviewer, it's not. And there's more and more research, and that informs better and better practice on this as well, where you can have particular ways of looking for honesty, empathy, evocation, autonomy in that relation, and these are sort of key aspects of the rapport building. But I think first and foremost, it reflects that the interviewer has a good interviewing plan, and it's a good investigative plan, so that the interview has a purpose and that it yields useful information and evidence, and of course that evidence is legal. I think it's very similar all across the board, because I think the main challenge, and that accounts for my own country, Norway, is crime control. So this sort of tough on crime rhetoric mixed in with xenophobia, racism, sort of fear of migration, and right-wing policies on the one hand, but also a sort of center and left or politics that kind of join the party, so to speak, in the sense of competing with other political forces on being, tougher on crime. I think that's the biggest threat, mainly because it's both unethical, sometimes it's borderline illegal or outright illegal, and it's certainly not scientific. So I think that this kind of trend, and this is a pendulum that shifts back and forth, but I think that pendulum shifting now towards greater crime control again, and that sort of emphasis, I think that's the main threat. That all these positive developments that we've seen since the launch of the Méndez Principles, I think that that's the biggest threat to those sort of achievements.